Hi guys, thank you very much for joining a special Q&A with classic winning jockey Sean Levey. He's kindly on hand to bring us up to speed with how things are with him and answer a few of your questions which have come in via the Racing TV social network channels. Sean, first up, how are you at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in good form. Just finished right now, back in the house, showered and chilling out for the rest of the day.
Good man. Look, I tell you what, in the interest of getting through as many of these as we can, I'll get straight on with the questions. And A.D. Coulson has said very topically, at a time like this, what keeps you motivated every day knowing that it could be quite a while before racing actually resumes?
That's a frustrating one. It's hard now because obviously we don't know when racing is going to commence, and with trying to keep your weight down and keeping fit without the racing around the corner, it's extremely hard to keep motivated, to be fair. But I suppose with the whole going into work every day and riding out, we have those horses to look forward to. So I suppose there's your motivation right there.
Yeah, we will be coming on to a few of those in a moment. But Liam O'Connor has got in touch to ask, effectively to take it back to the start. And he said, Sean, when did you decide to get into racing and how did you get your first job?
My dad used to ride. I started show jumping and eventing when I was very I was about 9, I suppose, and basically got the bug from there. Obviously, because my dad used to ride in England at the time, it was easy for him to guide me into the game, I suppose.
Okay. On a similar note, D4NDY, I beg your pardon for the pronunciation of that one, _97. He said, what made you want to become a jockey? But who was your inspiration? Would that have been your dad in those days?
I said it would have been. He convinced me to go down this route. I suppose I think I didn't really want to be a jockey until pony racing and that sort of thing, and that's when I fell in love with the whole thing.
Yeah. We'll move on, and I suppose that the next one I've put them in order of hopefully a way that we can go through them seamlessly enough. It said, what horse would have really kicked off your career? Which was the sort of signature horse that got you going, Sean?
I think early doors there was no particular horse really. My first winner, that's the one that got me going ultimately, didn't it?
Which was?
Filly called Beauty Bright. I won a maiden on her in Cork racecourse.
Yep.
Mallow racecourse. Beat McKinnon a short a neck maybe, I think it was.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one.
That's the one that kicked me off.
Obviously, you allude back to the days in Ireland, and that leads me on to Frankie McCloskey said, obviously, at the time that you were at Ballydor, what was the best horse you rode at Aidan O'Brien's when you were based there?
I think the best horse I ever rode in O'Brien's was George Washington. He was probably the horse that had the most raw talent than any horse I'd ever ridden, I think.
Just quickly, just to keep on him ever so slightly, we saw that when he won the Guineas in 06, and he had to be almost reversed into the winner's enclosure. He was still so full of himself. Was he always quite a full of himself character at home as well then?
He was. From the day he walked into the yard, he was. Going into reverse was only one of his antics. He could do plenty of other things.
But in terms of the talent, he would have been right up there. And was it like sitting on a bit of an aeroplane, to use a cliche?
To be honest, I only rode him a couple of breezes here and there. I didn't by any means ride him every day or anything like that. But I did have the bridge on, sitting on his back, and a couple of pieces of work here and there. And what I did feel off of him was I'd never known a horse he just never ever come off the bridle. He could follow anything around that yard, and he just never come off the bridle. He'd go past them on the bridle.
He was different class, wasn't he? Dermot Lynch has said, how did it feel moving to the biggest stable in Ireland to then the most successful one in England and to find yourself effectively being as successful as you've been? So to go from Ballydoyle to then Richard Hannon's?
Well, there was, I did go to David O'Meara's in between the two. And I found, obviously, I found Richard Hannon's a better fit because I did obviously start in O'Brien's, which, you know what I mean, was a massive team with a lot of horses, and I felt more at home when I got to Richard Haddon's because it was basically the same environment.
A nice question to lead on, actually, because Marcus DeLong has said, with whom would you rather go on holiday? Richard Hannon, doesn't specify which one, Richard Hannon or Aidan O'Brien, asking for a friend.
I definitely go with Richard. He's a good laugh.
Yeah?
Good laugh.
Senior,
Yeah.
junior, or both?
A junior. I get along a lot better, I suppose, with junior. Senior, I suppose. Yeah, he'd be a laugh as well. They're known for being good people to be around.
Yeah, they're great people. Barry Pancoast, apologies if I haven't got the name quite right as regards to the pronunciation. He said, what horse from years gone by from the Hannon Yard would you have liked to have ridden the most?
Camber Cliffs.
Yeah, easy answer.
Yeah.
He was different class, wasn't he, as a miler?
Harry, maybe Thailand. Whichever one won the more Group 1s.
We'll come on to that. Harry Butler said, what was you thinking? What were you thinking in your head before you went out to ride Bilston Brook that famous day in Newmarket a couple of years ago?
Honestly, that's a funny one. Actually, I honestly thought to myself going out, Max, I'd be fourth after the way she ran in the Nail Gwyn. And that's exactly what I thought going out.
And the next, naturally, it leads on. MFBR29 on Twitter has got in contact and said, what did you feel like when you crossed the line, though, when you won the 1,000 guineas on Bilston Brook? Can you bottle that emotion? What was it like?
I had to look around just to be sure first. And then, I don't know. For me, personally, I've been riding for so long, trying to obviously get that first Group 1 winner. That was my first Group 1 winner. And I don't know, the first feeling I had was like relief, if anything. I felt like relieved to finally won that Group 1.
Is there anything you could compare it to? Or was that just a feeling like no other, Sean?
It's a feeling like no other, to be honest with you. And it doesn't, I don't think, you can ride as many Group 1s, and I think every time you do ride another one, you get that same feeling again.
Right, this one, I wonder how you're going to answer this. Gary St. John said, hi, Sean. My question is, out of all the unraced 2-year-olds, as they are, of course, in Britain at the moment, which one is exciting you the most so far? Have you got a pedigree or one we could look out for?
So I always enjoy riding the first season stallions that come in.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we have a lovely horse, which is by Twilight Sun, which goes by.
Okay.
One I actually look forward to. He seems, this changes obviously from month to month, but at the moment, he could be consistent.
That's the thing, isn't it? At this stage, I could say to you, when's that one going to be out? And we just don't know. Tom Bakewell has said, can you give us a relatively unexposed horse to follow for the upcoming season? He does put in brackets delayed. For the flat season that you think's got good potential that we probably haven't seen the best of so far?
To be honest, it was very frustrating for us leading into when we all got the lockdown, because we had so many 3-year-olds that were going to be running pretty soon.
Yeah.
That looked like they've played on rather well from last year, I could name quite a lot of them, but like at the moment, I think a horse that's probably not fully exposed. The horse that still, I think, has potential to go a lot higher up in the ratings is a horse called Uzo.
Okay. Uzo, we'll look out for him as and when we get racing back. Interesting question, this one, because it could be posed at a trainer as well. Michael Anthony has said, Noel Merlis, the great Noel Merlis, would often gallop his 2 best horses together. Do you think that it's outdated? Would you prefer to leave something in reserve for race day, effectively? Would you want to see your 2 best horses working upsides each other on the gallop, so would you prefer to keep them apart?
I think when you have a good horse, you don't need to put it up against something to find out how good it is. Normally you just know how good they are anyway.
Yeah.
And then work is obviously the way work is always, they only work to what we think is going to benefit the horse.
Yeah.
The gallops are not set up to find out how fast he can run. You know what I mean?
That's not what we're there for, are we? We saved that for the race day for when they're actually needed.
Exactly. We'll find out. We'll find out how fast he can run when he goes to the race course. But at home, it's basically just and just getting him fit well and to the race course in one piece, really.
I'm looking forward to the answer to this question. Piers Santa has got in contact and said, as a 2-year-old specifically, would you prefer to have ridden Frankel as a 2-year-old or Pinatubo, who was, of course, judged the best 2-year-old in a quarter of a century or so?
Pinatubo, he ran more and won more.
Yeah, easy answer.
Frankel, yeah.
There we go. Pinatubo, who hopefully we'll see sooner rather than later. Lewis Davis, he says, what's the one race you would ride again, given the chance? Is there one?
I'd ride the QE2 again because I won it.
And then naturally we won't say, would you do anything differently? Because there's no need to do that whatsoever. Martin Stanton, what's the best horse you rode as a 2-year-old but disappointed at 3? So the one you thought might step forward but didn't.
Well, that's a good one. There's been plenty, but I think on the top of my head, a horse I just thought of was a horse called Tangled.
Horse called what? Sorry, the signal went down a little bit there.
Tangled.
Okay, yeah. Why was that? Just what was the reason that we didn't see the better side of the horse when he became a 3-year-old?
I think just ultimately he didn't have the scope to train as a 3-year-old, and that was just basically it. You know, he was a precocious 2-year-old, albeit it took him a few runs for the penny to drop, but when it did, he never put a foot wrong as a 2-year-old. But I just don't think he had the scope to become a good 3-year-old because all the other horses grew past him by then.
Yeah.
And, he remained the same.
Right, next one. We're not wishing your career away, Sean, at all, but Peter H, 2323, has said, is there anything in mind you would like to do once your career as a jockey is over, once you've finished?
Sit on the beach, wouldn't you? Retire?
Well, see how many Group 1s you've won by that point and look back pretty rose-tintedly.
This game takes so much out of you up and down the country and starving yourself and, the carry on. I don't think I'll be fit to do anything else when I'm finished.
Next one from Shoot It. What's your perfect Sunday? I know obviously a lot of the time you'd be racing on a Sunday, but if you've got a Sunday off, what do you like to do?
I don't know. I always like with a lot of ideas of what I'd like to do, and I end up doing none of them. Pretty much end up just watching TV, to be fair.
That's all right. Interesting one that's come in here from James Randall. He said that given there'll be no form of racing given there'll be no form, I should say, to go off when we get back racing, will you genuinely distinguish between those horses actually working well on the gallops and those that aren't, or will you just say that they're all working well and be done with it? Because obviously they're all going to be, well, hopefully fit, firing and ready to go at that point, aren't they?
I would have thought so, but then there's always going to be the backward ones, the more forward ones, the ones that work well and the ones that don't work well at home. I think ultimately I'm going to say they're all doing well.
Then the nice thing is, if you have all these weeks off, there's no way they can disappoint you on the racetrack, is there? They're all pretty much
exactly
blank canvases at home.
Everyone's still owns the champion.
Andrew Gallagher. He says, what gives you personally the most satisfaction, riding a winner in a low-grade race or riding a horse that places in a high-grade race?
I'm not sure. I prefer riding at the highest level. So if you ride it in the Group 1 and you place in that, I get a bigger kick out of it than going around, say, Bath and winning a claimer,
Yeah.
It's all about the big stage. Not just for jockeys, but for owners, trainers. It's all about the big stage.
Of course it is. And you know that better than a few people of late as well. Christopher Logan, he says, Sean, if you could steal another horse from a jockey and be the regular rider, who would it be and why?
Ooh.
Hypothetically.
Like for next year or horses?
Yeah, for the coming season.
Okay, horses. Okay, for the coming season. You wouldn't mind stealing Pinatubo, would you? You'd be all right.
I think he would be, wouldn't he? What about an Abel? Knowing that you had those back-end targets to look forward to and a crack at the arc again.
Yeah, it'd be great, but I hate to get a beat,
A long one.
I think I just Pinatubo, that'll do.
Pinatubo, that'll do. Win the Guineas and Sussex Stakes, and God
I
knows.
just go from there, yeah.
This long one here from Nathan Jakes, or Jacks. I apologise if I've got the pronunciation wrong, but I like this one. He says, congratulations on a wonderful season last year. My question is, going through the ranks, as you did for Richard Hannon, how much satisfaction do you get out of being effectively going through the ranks and becoming a top stable jockey? After my favourite jockey of all time, Richard Hughes, do you relish the pressure to fill such a huge hole left by the likes of Hughesy, or do you just admire and then want to mark your own stamp effectively in such a big job? And of course, well done with Bilston Brook. That was amazing. So to go on and follow in the footsteps of the likes of Richard Hughes, how does that leave you feeling?
To be fair, look, I'll never fill his boots. I don't think anyone will. But to have got to that position in my career, proud, I suppose. Proud of myself. It's been a long road, but to get to this position is a great feeling, really, isn't it?
What are the goals left, Sean? I'm just going off piece now, ever so slightly, with the couple of minutes or so that we've got left. What would you like? What would you love to win if you were given the chance this season? Which race?
Everything. Just want to win them all, don't you? I'm not too far. I haven't got look at everyone. You could say Derby, you could say this. I think initially I would have settled for any Group 1, but now I just would like to win the ones I haven't.
Well, let's hope that's to come. Now, just in terms of the rest of this period of this lockdown, of this time without racing, do you just take it day by day, or you can't let yourself look too far ahead, I suppose, at this moment, can you?
I didn't get any of that. Sorry, you broke up.
The signal did go a bit, didn't it? I think just in the last question that from me, I suppose for you personally, do you look day by day at the moment? You can't let yourself look too far ahead because it could be a long old road before we are back and you're doing what you do for the day job. So do you sort of just take each day as it comes at the moment?
To be fair, I was laughing with the missus there, and I said to her, "Isn't it funny? I've been off for 3 months with a broken elbow, and I've nearly trained myself for this whole COVID-19 situation. I'm used to it. I'm already used to living day to day, doing absolutely nothing. Between riding out now and going for a run or working out in the house, that's about as much as I do, and then it's just day to day. Then from there."
Right, we'll round it up. Let you get back on with training for the rest of COVID-19, as you said there, and the period that we're going to have off, which hopefully isn't too long. Just in terms of the feedback you give to the questions, was there a particular favourite one in there from the ones that you've answered today, Sean?
No, they're all brilliant questions, weren't they? I'm just happy enough I had the answers to them. Nothing tricky.
Top man. Look, Sean, thank you very much indeed. And thank you at home for getting involved and sending in the Q&A session, the questions to the Q&A session with Sean Levey, the classic winning jockey, who's kindly given the answers to all of those questions. We'll see you again very soon. And Sean, stay safe. And we'll look forward to seeing you on a racecourse again very soon.
Hopefully. Keep safe.
Top man.
Thank you.